Hello everyone, as promised, I'm back with the use of article the in this video. So to make it more simpler and then to not to forget where and how to use the article the, I have drawn some figures here and I hope this will enable you to remember it for a long period of time. Like mathematically, let's represent the article the in its figured form. Like this is a rectangle, and in this rectangle, let's remember we have 4R. This is a triangle, and here we have 3D. Here also we have 3S, and here we have 3M. So if we can remember 4R, 3D, 3S, 3M, it will always help us to remember where we should use the article the. So the first thing is, let's remember 4R. What are the 4 R's? Number 1, religious books. We use article the in religious books like the Gita, the Bible, the Quran. So let's write, for example, the Gita. Next, let's go to rooms in the house. We have plenty of rooms in the house. The washroom, the common room, the kitchen, the bedroom. So let's take one for example here. The kitchen. Okay, the kitchen. Let's go into the third R, that is repeated nouns. When I talk about repeated nouns, like for example, if I say, I gave him a pen. My next sentence will define the pen. So I'll say, the pen was a good one. So, if I'm talking about, I gave him a book, my sentence stops here. Now the next sentence that I'm talking about is about the book. So I say, the book was about something. The book was about something. Okay. So we are using the articles the. Now let's come to the last 4 R. The first R is rivers. When we talk about rivers, we have plenty of rivers around the world. So let's talk about the Nile, the Karnali. So this is how we can remember. So if you can remember 4R, you can easily remember that it's religious books, the rooms in the house, repeated nouns, and rivers. So let's remember these 4R and we shall never forget how to use articles well. This is first step. After we have finished with this rectangle part, let's go to the 3D, 3S, 3A, the triangular formation. Day breaks. We use article in day breaks, like in the morning, in the afternoon. Okay, so I will be meeting you in the afternoon. So let's write down one example. In the morning. This is where we break the day. In the evening. Similarly, let's go to directions. East, west, north, south. So let's say the east. One example. Fine. Second, the third D is deserts. So we have heard many deserts in the world. Let's try one. The Sahara. Okay. Let's write here. The Sahara Desert. The Gobi Desert. So this is how we can remember 3D. When we go to 3S, the first one is superlative. The most expensive marker. The most expensive duster. The tallest boy in the class. EST. Tallest, superlative degree. So we use these kinds of articles. Like we use the in the superlatives. Let's write down one example. The tallest. Now let's go to C's. Okay. When we are talking about C's, we can probably talk about the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea. We have heard the name, the Dead Sea. So, the Caribbean Sea. Here. Let's write one example. The Dead Sea. Yes. When we talk about ships, let's talk about the Titanic. So, the famous, we have a film on Titanic as well. So, let's remember the Titanic. So, this is how we can remember 3D, 3S. Till now we have learned 4R, 3D, 3S. Now we have 3M. Now what does this M refers to? It refers to mountain ranges. The Himalayas, the Alps. Now the two other M's are number 1, musical instruments. Number 2 also musical instruments. But in cases of musical instruments, we use the as well as a. In what condition we use the? While we are learning or using or playing the instruments. Okay, I am playing the guitar. I am playing the guitar. But when I am referring to it, the same object, the same guitar into an object form, then I say, I have a guitar at home. Or guitar. I don't say I have the guitar at home. I have a guitar at home. It is in its object form. So, let me repeat it once again. 4R, 3D, 3S, 3M. If we can remember 4R, 3D, 3S, 3M, we shall never ever get confused in its triangular and rectangular concept of the use of article the. Now, let's see the line segments. This is the line segment and this is a circle. To make it simpler, we have two things here in the line segment. One, historical buildings, another, historical events. And let's not forget that we are dealing with the article the. So we are using the in the historical buildings, the in the historical events. We are also using the article the in internal parts of the body and in the inventions. Finally, we have a circle which consists of two things, that is ordinal numbers, oceans and islands. So, what do we mean by historical buildings? The famous historical buildings like the Taj Mahal, the Swayambhunath, the Pashupatinath, they all need to be used with article. So one example, let's write down. The Pashupatinath. The Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu. The Taj Mahal in India. Okay. The Taj Mahal in India is a famous monument. Let's talk about historical events. What could be the historical events that could always come in its repeated form every year? Like for example, the Women's Day, the Children's Day, the Martyrs' Day, the Independence Day. So let's write down the Independence Day. One example, the Independence Day, the Children's Day. Now let's write down the internal parts of the body. Human being is formed with different parts inside us. So let's say the brain, organs, the kidney. Okay, these are the internal parts of the body. Now let's go to inventions. We have had numerous inventions and discoveries made around the world through times. So let's talk about who invented the radio, who invented the telephone. So this is where we use the article the in inventions. Finally, we come to ordinal numbers. Okay? Finally, we come to ordinal numbers. It means the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and it goes on. This is what is called ordinal numbers. Oceans and islands. Let's not forget this now. This is the last one. Oceans and islands. Like let's say for the island of Madagascar. Okay. The Atlantic. Let's write down one example. The Pacific, the Atlantic. These are the oceans around in the world. Islands. The Madagascar island. The island of Madagascar. We can say the Madagascar island. So, this is how we can remember the use of article the. So, let's repeat it once again. 4R, 3D, 3S, 3N. Two line segments are there which carries H, 2H, and we have 2 I's, 2I, and finally we have 2O. So this is how we can easily remember in a figured form the use of the article the. So now let's go to the final point of the use of article. That is, let's remember this one. P U G, pug. With this, I add here, like I was referring to it, 1 P, 1 U, 1 G. Now, this will always help you to remember where to use articles. We have already learned 4R, 3D, 3S, 3M, 2H, 2I, 2O, 1 up to here. Now from here, what is 1P? So 1P refers to physical positions. Physical positions, and in physical positions, it means the top. What have I written on the top? Here. The bottom. So you got to use, wherever you get the physical positions, use the article, the top, the bottom, and so on. With U, 1U, there's only one thing that you have to remember with the use of article U, that is, if the objects are unique or something very important, universal. Unique or universal. So, when I talk about the moon, It's very unique. It's universal as well. The word. See, these are the most suitable examples. And now let's go to 1G finally. And what is this 1G? It means geographical names. Geographical, sorry. It happens sometimes. OZ, okay, RAPHICAL. Geographical names like the UK, the USA. We use the article the in a context when number of different states collapse together to form one country. So the UK, the USA are the most suitable examples for the use of the article the. So this is now how you can remember where to use article the. So let's not forget it again. 4R, 3D, 3S, 3M, 2H, 2I, 2O, 1P, 1U, 1G. And this is how to use article, how and where to use articles the. Now here, this could probably make you feel happier because we don't have to use articles in these cases. So what are the cases out here? Let's see. First of all, festivals. Okay? We don't use articles when we are talking about festivals. I wouldn't be saying the Diwali, the Dasera. We avoid using that. Meals. When we are talking about meals, did you have your lunch? I wouldn't be saying, did you have the lunch? Did you have your lunch? Did you have lunch? Did you have dinner? Magazines. We have plenty of magazines from the school level to the national to the international level. Please avoid using articles on magazines. By plus vehicles. Okay? By plus vehicle. I came by the bus. It's not correct. I came by bus. I came on a cycle. Okay? We don't say the cycle. We are avoiding the use of article the in these cases. Parks. When we talk about parks, we don't use articles there either. Okay? Now, relation word. Mother is preparing meal for us. I wouldn't be referring my mother as the mother is preparing meal for us. That sounds funny. So it's a relation word. I have a relation there. Sister is bringing tea for me. The sister is wrong. Streets. Okay, streets and avenues. Okay, we don't use articles there either. Possessive, abstract and proper nouns. We avoid articles there. The use of article the. Next and last time. Next time I would be coming up with something more interesting. The next time is wrong. The last time I taught you about a and an. Wrong. Last time I taught you about a and an. Prepositional expressions means on foot. Okay, on foot, by bus. It would be wrong to use he came on the foot. We don't use article here either. So mountain peaks. We talked about mountain ranges in our earlier slide. The Himalayan ranges, the Alps. We use their article, the. But here we don't use because we are talking about peaks. So let's not forget that Mount Everest Okay, Mount Kanchenjunga, and so on. We don't use article. Unless and until we are talking about the Himalayan ranges, and we avoid using articles in these cases. So this is what articles is all about. In my previous video I talked to you about a and an, and here I have talked to you about the use of article the. So here is something before I close up the session. In regards to the pronunciation of the article the, whether it is the or the. The refers to vowel sound or the word. For example, the black elephant, the honor. The, we use the, we pronounce the when the word starts with a consonant or they have a consonant sound. The boy, the girl, the zebra. So we use the term THED. We use the term THED when we find D in its isolated form. Means THE is pronounced when THE is seen in its isolated state. For example, the egg was found rotten. So this is how I have tried to explain to you about the pronunciation of the word THE as the and THE as the. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. This much for today.